Laura. Good evening, lovely people. Thank you so much for joining. We've got such a nice group here so far, and I'm sure some more will join. And to all those that are watching the recording, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this adds value to you. I recommend, if you haven't already got a pen and paper, please grab one and make sure you've got it handy for this particular Meaningful Monday. So tonight we're talking about the power of non-reaction. And I just see that Eliza and Laura have just joined, which is fantastic. Just want to say hello. Sorry, guys. Hello, Eliza and Laura. Welcome to tonight. Hi, Laura. Just want to say hello before we begin. Okay. So this is a very powerful topic. So if you're new to Meaningful Monday, I just want to say very warm welcome, and I'm honored that you're here. I really am. You honor me with your presence, and I wish that you get lots of value out of this. I'm just here to really raise awareness, help people any way that I can. This particular topic has helped me personally in my life master myself. And I mean that if you knew me when I was 16, how I used to be reactive. I'm Italian. I've got a very fiery energy in me, and I've got a very fiery family. So for me to manage myself over the years and get rid of things like a temper and things like that, I had to really work on myself. So this is a very important topic, because the power of non-reaction will not only change your experience of your life, it will change all your relationships for the better, every one of them, including the relationship with yourself. Because the more you can master yourself, the more you love yourself, and the more you respect yourself, and the better self-esteem you have. And you feel like a person who's calmly confident, and not that you get your confidence by having to do anything to be validated on the outside. And I think it's important that we're aware of what are intrinsic values and extrinsic values. Just listening to something earlier that popped up on my feed about people who live their life for extrinsic values. So other people, like things outside of you. So you've got the status, you've got the house, you've got the car, you've got the well dones from everyone, the acknowledgement, but the intrinsic things are really the most important, because then you are a solid person. So I'm talking about the power of non-reaction. I'm going to have a segment in the middle of tonight where you're going to workshop some important questions. Please don't sit passively. I want you to pick up a pen, even if it's a difficult question. Do your best to write something down in the time that I allocate. Even if you're not sure, it doesn't matter. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to participate as best you can. And as long as you're writing, the subconscious starts to respond to the question, whether it's right now or tonight or tomorrow or next week. Once you write, the subconscious starts responding. Okay, the power of non-reaction. So let me first clarify what I mean by non-reaction, because some people might think it just means to exercise self-control and just act like you're okay, but it's not that at all. Okay, so non-reaction is not suppression. Suppression does not work. If you suppress your emotions, you become a very angry, bitter person and sick in your older years. There is nothing right or healthy about suppressing emotions. I'm not talking about that, so please I must make that very clear. This is about self-mastery. It's about being so mindful and present that you're able to see yourself and the emotions. You can actually just pause for even 1 second to 2 seconds and observe what's happening as something happens, especially in difficult circumstances or very triggering environments. So the other thing is, non-reaction means that you react less. And by reaction, I'm talking about, we think that we are consciously living, and we think that when somebody says something, or our children say something that's not appropriate, or the right thing to say, or just whatever anyone says, actually, autopilot is a trained response that you learned sometime in your life to help you survive. But you've got to understand that when you're in survival mode, you are on adrenaline, you're in the fight or flight. And that's why non-reaction is the very opposite. It's not coming from a survival reaction. It's coming from a level of high awareness. Non-reaction is something that you have to develop in your lifetime from a very high level of self-discipline. So it's a very high level of awareness. There's something called the 7 levels of awareness, and the lowest level is animal. And it means that when we react, we are operating from that level of awareness, like animals react. And every time you get triggered and you react, no matter what level of awareness you've achieved, let me just go through them very briefly. The first one, I just want to make sure I've got them correctly. The first one is animal. The second one is mass, when you follow the crowd and do everything that everyone else does. The third one is aspiration, where you actually want more for yourself. You're tired of being like the rest of the crowd. You want kind of a better life or to stand out than being average. That's aspiration, level 3. So you've got the vision or the dream or the ambition, but you haven't changed anything in your life. It's just something that you got inside you. And then 4 is when you want to start individualizing yourself, separating yourself from the crowd. So maybe you study something, maybe you get a degree, maybe you open your own business that's a reflection of just you and what you really are passionate about. So that's level 4. And level 5 is discipline. So you can see how high level 5, how high it is on the 7 levels of awareness. And then level 6 is experience, which means nothing more than you're practicing self-discipline all the time, like consistently. And as you practice level 5 consistently, you enter level 6. So you can't aim for level 6, you can only aim for level 5, which is the highest level we can aim for. And as we practice that, we get to level 6. And then as you do that over a lifetime, you will get to level 7, which is mastery. So let's go back to the beginning. The lowest level of awareness is animal. And every time a person is triggered, even if you've raised yourself to level 4, that's individual, or 5, and you're doing really well with discipline, the minute you're triggered and you react, you automatically drop down to level 1. So this that I'm talking about is really a different word for self-mastery, okay? And it says react less and choose more. Now, equanimity turns pressure into presence. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a meditation transformational practice soon. And the word equanimity is what the whole transformational meditation program or course or whatever you want to call it is about. And it really means this calm, balanced composure, like you're very well composed. So even the word EQA is like equal, it's balanced. You're kind of what they call in the middle road. It's like very much Buddhist teaching. You don't get too excited about anything that goes right for you. You don't get too unhappy about anything that goes wrong for you. You kind of have this balanced, even-keeled composure. And that's not because you're dull and your emotions are dull. It's not that at all. It's that you've mastered yourself through presence, mindfulness, self-awareness, and over time, through practice, you actually become a person who is very attractive, not in the sense that you look attractive or whatever, you've got charisma and all that. You're attractive because you have a presence of calm, composure, and confidence about you. In the book As a Man Thinketh, in the last chapter on serenity, it says it's like a person who, like when they're very thirsty and you can quench your thirst, or how divine shade is on a hot day, that kind of feeling. A person who's non-reactive gives other people around them that same kind of shade on a very scorching hot day. You kind of bring that to people around you. Okay, so non-reaction is a strength. It's not being passive, like, oh, the person is just so passive. They just don't, stand up for anything. They don't have any opinions. No, not at all. It's not being passive. In fact, it's being extremely self-aware and actively mindful. So you have to develop it like a muscle. That's why it's a strength. And when we have non-reaction, we have this little moment where we can pause and make a right choice. You then make a choice from a calm place where your whole brain can work and think. Because if you react, you are, as I said, in survival mode, and you're acting off adrenaline, and you're acting off the fight or flight is in the brainstem. So that's why when a person is stressed, the blood vessels constrict here in the neck. You get tense, like you lift your shoulders, you're ready to fight or whatever. You're reacting, even if it doesn't have to be something physical. It can be an argument. When that constriction takes place, blood doesn't flow to the prefrontal cortex, and your critical thinking part of your brain doesn't get any oxygen or blood, so you don't actually think very well. That's why people who have very loud arguments, half an hour later, when they're somewhere else and calm down, they go, oh, I should have said this, oh, I should have said that, oh, I could have said this, I could have said that, because they weren't thinking, because you can't think. So when we have practiced non-reaction as a skill, we're able to make very good inspired choices. And that's called inspired action. Now, inspired action is amazing because, one, it comes from a lot of the time your intuition, and you can only access your intuition in a relaxed state. So the benefits of this, honestly, will change your life. It will change your relationships. Every relationship you have, every single one, with every person you know, will be better if this is something that you decide, okay, this is something in 2026 I'm going to practice. And of course, I don't have it in this slide deck, but one thing that would really help is to meditate in the morning every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes. And I'm talking about passive meditation. I do train the Silver Method. You know that. I love it. And it's all about visualizing and mirror of the mind and seeing yourself in the scene. And great. If you can do that, do that. But if you can, passively meditate, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, to just sit quietly and try to calm your mind down. And any thought that comes in, just this is what I do. I'm not saying this is the technique. I imagine putting it onto a conveyor belt that moves it off far away. I don't know where it goes, up into the sky, into the clouds. I don't know. It just goes away. And I just dump my thought and let it go. And I just try to stay with no thought. And the thought will come. It will. And you just put it on there, let it go. When you do that over time, you are able to be more calm, choose inspired action over emotional impulse. So as I said, I'm going to talk about meditation practice. So VIPASSANA, many of you may know what it is. Some of you here have done it. I can only speak for Laura. I don't know if anyone else has done it, but you can tell me in the chat if you like. I've done VIPASSANA. Laura's done it twice, so she really trumps me there. And she's done some small other ones in between, I believe. So VIPASSANA is a 10-day silent meditation retreat. Well, course, transformational 10 days. I don't know what the right word is for it. Now, the only reason I'm talking about this is if you haven't done it, you will not understand it. That's all I can say. Only if you do it will you understand it from a knowing point of view. However, I can tell you what the learnings or the benefit or the purpose of VIPASSANA is. Why would people sit for 10 days with no eye contact, not a word of dialogue, meditate from 4:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night? Then you watch a video on the lesson about it, a discourse about it. Why would they do it? Because it actually is, in 10 days, it's actually a total transformation, and it's actually very scientific. So I'm going to share some lessons here. It's all about non-reaction. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. And if you want to take notes, you can just make top of the waves or listen to the recording afterwards and don't take notes. But just try to understand. So VIPASSANA is basically, if you want a definition, you may write this down because it's not in my slide deck. It's to remove suffering at the root cause level. Now, there's only two things that cause all people suffering. One is craving for something that you don't have. And the other one is aversion. You want to get rid of something that you do have. I don't want this in my life. That's aversion. Oh, I wish I had. That's craving. And you actually do this in Vipassana. How do you do this? You do it in the framework of your body, because you sit quietly, eyes closed, from 4:30 till 7:30 over 10 days. And you have all sorts of things happen. I can't even go into what happens, but every thought you've had that could be troublesome, every experience in your life that impacted you, everything you regret, everything you wished for, everything you hated, everything you loved, everything comes up, and all you're trying to do is not think and just focus on the breath, So it all comes up, and through this, there's pains in the bodies and sensations in the bodies. And remember, your body is your subconscious mind. So if you've got, let's say, resentment, well, resentment is a trapped emotion, and your body is the subconscious mind. So if you're going to sit meditating over the 10 days, you're going to feel a pain somewhere. I don't know where that pain will be, but you'll feel it. And if you are wishing in your head, I wish this pain, let's say it's in your knee, I wish this pain in my knee would go. That's aversion. And the more you think that, the worse it gets. So the point is to observe yourself. So if you're writing notes, write observe in capital letters. You observe yourself in the human experience. And if you just observe, that pain actually dissolves and just goes away. And then by the time, like day 1's different to day 2's different, day 3's different, 4, 5, 6, day 7 for me was really, really, really tough. They say people normally run away on day 2 and 6. I don't know. Anyway, it was really tough for me. And then all of a sudden, you start to have this change happening within you. You've thought so many things, trying to clear your mind, and then you start having this amazing blissful experience, okay? And all these tingling, beautiful sensations, they're marvelous, they're amazing, it's just bliss. When you get them, you think, oh, so nice. When they go away, you go, oh, I wish they were here. What's that? Craving. So you can see, if you sat and did this for 10 days, it would change your life. So I'm going to give you a couple of lessons here. The first one is non-reaction is a skill. It's not emotional suppression. So non-reaction is not about dulling your emotions or becoming numb. It's about observing sensations and impulses without automatically responding with craving or aversion. And this builds freedom from compulsive reactivity, helping you respond wisely rather than reactively. The next one, observing reality instead of reacting to its story. So I want you to imagine you're in the middle of the most triggering scene. Maybe you're with your family, because they do, the ones we love, they trigger us the most. And there's something that just went down that you didn't like, and it suddenly really just set you off. Well, imagine observing this reality that's happening while you're in the scene, instead of reacting to the story of the scene. So much of our suffering comes from reacting to sensations as good or bad. When we simply notice what arises, sensation or thought or emotion coming up, without trying to hold on or push it away, then we see the impermanent nature of the experience. Because everything, this too shall pass. Everything, this too shall pass, good and bad in your life. This diminishes suffering and brings clarity. Just a quick story. I had this pain in my back at Vipassana, and it was getting worse and worse. And I saw other people with a backrest, and I thought, I never got a backrest. I have to sit and support my own spine, and I'm sitting like this for how many hours a day? So the pain was getting more and more intense. So by day 7, I decided to have the guts to go to the teacher, because you can ask questions. And I went up to the teacher and I said, I've got the terrible pain in my back, and it's just got worse and worse. It feels like a total knot now. Is it possible that I could get a backrest, or do you think maybe it's aversion? And without hesitation, the teacher looked me straight in the eye and just said, without an expression on their face, it's aversion, which means I'm not going to get the backrest. So I haven't learned what I'm meant to learn there. I have not learned to observe. I am still reacting. So the teacher said, I've got a tip for you. That pain in your back, instead of noticing the pain in your back and how strong it is, I want you to diagnose it as a doctor, as another third party. Look at the pain and say, oh, okay, the pain is about 3 centimeters in diameter. It's about a 9.5 out of 10. It feels like a red hot coal, and it's positioned over there. And just observe it as if you're seeing it like a doctor. Not your pain, not me, mine, I. just the pain. I kid you not, I went and sat down and I did that. It went away instantly. Instantly. I had this pain for 7 days. I could not believe the wisdom in just shifting my mindset to this is my pain, my back, so sore, my, to, oh, there is this pain. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a slant on how your mind can change your reaction to life and everything about you just from a tiny little shift. All right, let's carry on. Equanimity is the heart of non-reaction. The Buddha, so Buddha is the person who actually reached enlightenment by sitting until transformation happened. And this Vipassana actually comes from Buddha's own wisdom. So the Buddha described equanimity as a balanced, unmoving mind in the face of all experiences. Non-reaction strengthens this inner calm, allowing you to stay centered in life rather than above or apart from it. So that's very important, because sometimes when we have tough times, we think non-reaction is separating and detaching and being apart from the experience. This is not that. We're not trying to be detached from things. It's very much different to that. It says this balance does not mean absence of feeling. It means presence with insight, like you're developing wisdom about yourself, the situation, the other people there. Number 4, non-reaction breaks the cycle of suffering. Absolutely, it will. So Vipassana encourages observing emotional and bodily sensations arising due to chemical reactions in the body. So by observing, that was me with that pain in my back, and not reacting, you stop multiplying the reaction. Now, I'm going to stop there before I carry on. In your own life, every time we react to a trigger, a person, let's say the same person triggers you all the time. When we start practicing this presence and stop reaction, we stop multiplying it. So it starts to diminish. The very thing that triggers you will start to disappear as you don't react. Because remember, the law of attraction is always in play. You can't change the law of attraction. You can't say it's the law of exclusion. I don't want this. I don't want that. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope the person doesn't say that again to me. I hope they don't speak to me that way. There's no such law as exclusion. There's only attraction. So ever you feel, you attract. So it says, by observing, not reacting, you stop multiplying the reaction and weakening, please make notes if you are, habitual patterns. They're habits. Habitual patterns like anger or fear. So over time, this practice reduces suffering at its source. Fear is excellent topic to discuss with your children. If you've got small children, talk to them about the feeling of fear and anxiety and help them understand it's not real. It's a thought pattern that's become so practiced, it's now a habitual pattern. The same goes for anger. All right, let's carry on. Non-reaction is not passive indifference. That's what I said. It's not like you're just not emotional anymore. You've become this emotionally dead person. No. Non-reaction is often misunderstood as detachment or emotional passivity. It's not. It means aware engagement with life. So you're in life, you're feeling emotions. Not that you don't feel them, you do feel them, but you pause with awareness. So you feel emotions fully without being driven by them. So you're going to control your emotions. They're not going to no longer control you. This, my friends, is level 7. This is coming towards self-mastery. Okay, level 5, discipline. This kind of non-reaction preserves compassion. That's very important because we want to develop compassion and purpose. Okay, just a few more points. Non-reaction is inner strength. It's not a weakness. So non-reaction truly is a superpower. Calmness is a superpower. It's a conscious regulation of ego responses. So the ego has this constant need to be right, validated, or in control. So once we're also aware of that, if I want you to think when we do the exercises, when you're going to write just after the slide, I want you to maybe write on the top side of the page somewhere right now, right, validated, or in control. Try to work out which one of those drives your reaction. Is it the feeling of being out of control and you want to be back in control, or you want to control when you control your environment or your partner or your kids or whoever? If you can control them, you then feel safe or you feel better. Is it that? Or is it that you don't like to be wrong? That gives a terrible feeling. What is it? It's good to identify it. Or to be validated. Like, I'm going to make my point louder, or I'm going to emphasize it more because I want you to hear me. I want you to understand me. I want you to say, yes, okay, I heard you. That's validation. So non-reaction here is not avoidance. It's strength through calm regulation. Next, non-reaction enables inspired versus forced action. So forced, whatever we force, negates. You don't get what you want. When you force something, you don't get that thing that you're trying to force. You get the opposite, it negates. So non-reaction is the ability to move from inspiration rather than reaction. When you stop reacting out of fear or ego, your choices become grounded in deeper intention and clarity. They're not knee-jerk habits, and the word really is habits. You can change them. This allows for more intuition and more flow. And here, sorry, that's not heart. It's not here mind, it's heart-mind, and more heart-mind coherence. Number 8, the non-reaction strengthens conscious decision-making as opposed to unconscious decision-making, which is reacting. So when you release automatic reactions, you open space for conscious choice. And rather than being led by impulses, like emotion, you choose responses that align with your values and your goals. That's important. So what do you value? If you don't know what you value, please make a side note that that's something you need to journal maybe after this webinar on your own tonight. What do you value? Do you value like good relationships? Do you value people? Do you value freedom? Because if your ego wants to always be in control, you'll never get freedom. So do you value freedom, your own freedom? Anyway, let me carry on. So what are your values and what are your goals? This is the cornerstone of both mindful living and intentional manifestation. Of course, intentional manifestation. Do you realize the power of non-reaction with your manifesting the good that you want in your life? Every negative emotion delays the manifestation of your good. Every single one. Whether that's doubt, fear, indecision, frustration, resentment, guilt, anger, grief. Any negative emotion will delay your manifestation. So the more you practice non-reaction in the middle way, like that Buddhist term, that's why they are always living in the flow, the monks and the gurus. Everything shows up for them because they are so in control of the present moment, not in a controlling way, just in an observing way. They're very mindful, very present. All right. Equanimity becomes inner freedom. And I wrote in capital letters, practice. You don't get this unless you practice it. And you cannot get it. Nobody, not me, not you, not the monks, not the Vipassana people, Buddha himself. No one can get it without practice. So I would put the thought in your head, why don't you make just like 2026 a year that this becomes something that you master yourself, and just give yourself short-term goals. So the first is for the next week, I'm going to keep a log if I react, or if I'm able to just pause between stimulus and response and observe myself, the situation, just see what's actually happening. And in literally is 1 second or 2 seconds, I feel this emotion coming up and I'm about to shout out and react. But I choose to just pause for a moment and be very, very present. And then make a choice, a better choice. Whatever the choice is, you just decide this is a better choice. This aligns more with my values. And if you value people, very important. You value the relationship. So you'll handle that situation totally differently than if you reacted. And in line with what you're trying to achieve, okay? So it says, as non-reaction grows, you become less ruled by internal impulses or external circumstances. They go hand in hand. Buddha teaches that this is a path to liberation, where mental freedom is more impactful than any external achievement. That's the last one. I love that, because what you actually get in your sense of achievement is actually self-mastery. And the more you get this right, the more proud you're going to be of yourself in a healthy way, not in a prideful, bad way, in a self-respectful way. And the more you respect yourself because you can control your emotions, the better and better you're going to get in practicing non-reaction even more. And the better you'll treat other people, and the better you'll respect other people, and your relationships will all get better. And the more you treat anyone, including a 2-year-old child, a 10-year-old child who might have some behavior issues, even they will start to respond with respect when you always are in a state of respect because you have non-reaction. Someone wrote something in the chat. Just want to see what that's about. So Shamal asks or said, in a dispute, if we ignore a response, the other party might say or believe you're not listening or don't care. I'm not saying we ignore. I never said that. Nowhere did I say we ignore a response. I'm saying we choose a response that's different to a knee-jerk reaction. And a knee-jerk reaction comes from your autopilot, and your autopilot kicks in survival mode. It wants to just protect you and survive. You need to be vulnerable, present, authentic, and centered to take a quick pause, 1 second to observe, and then choose a response. So we're not ignoring, we are responding. Even if your first words out of your mouth are this: I'm feeling very angry right now. I need to just take a breath here, and then you carried on. If that's what you said, you've made a non-reactive choice on you're going to say something after realizing you acknowledge, I'm feeling really angry in this moment. Isn't that a zillion million times better than just shouting at the person? Stop it! Quiet! Because that's reaction. That's survival mode. That's fight or flight. The brain stem. That's where the blood goes. It doesn't go any further. The prefrontal cortex not working. You can't think. You can't even say the right thing. This is different. Taking a breath and you're watching, and you maybe even lower your voice. Maybe you call the person by name. Maybe you say, John, I'm really upset in this moment, because you're acknowledging yourself to get going with this practice. And you get better and better. Okay, thanks, Shamal. You're welcome. All right, let's go now. Let's carry on. Some reflective questions on the power of non-reaction. So grab your journals, pens, and papers. We're going to have some fun here. So first of all, we're going to do 3 steps. The first step is awareness. You can't really fix anything you're not aware of. I'm not saying you've got to fix, but we want to change for the better. The first question I would like you to write down, I'm going to give you a minute. Where in my life do I tend to react first and reflect later? If it's easier, write people's names down or the places down. Work, home, wherever. Or the situation. Okay. Just your first impressions and a few quick notes. No need to write an essay. Just become aware. Have you all finished? I need someone to just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So what I would like you to do now, I would have wished I started this way before the first question, but I was too quick. Close your eyes. Everyone, take a deep breath. We're going to try and access our intuition so we can answer these questions faster and from truth, not from logic or defense or our ego. Just take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, just relax your body. Relax your shoulders and just be conscious that you're relaxing. I want you to take another deep belly breath right into your lower belly, deep one. And as you exhale, just relax even more. And then one last deep breath, keeping your eyes closed. And as you exhale, just relax. And only pick up your pen and open your eyes once you have the answer to the next question. What situations push my emotional buttons? What situations most push my emotional buttons? And maybe for some of you, like myself, I am more triggered when I'm with my birth family in South Africa and I don't live with them. So I might say I don't really have that, but I need to just think in all situations, maybe some that you haven't been in for months, but when you are, what are those? So what situations most reliably push your buttons? If you all got an answer, then just take a breath and relax. Close your eyes. And just see if your answers can come from your intuition, because they're really quick then, and they are accurate. Okay? The next question is, how does my body usually signal that I'm about to react? So try to imagine the scenario as happening. How does your body tell you that you're about to react? Do you get a flame in your stomach? Do you get your heart beating faster? Do you feel like you've had a surge of energy that has to come out and it's got to come out now and come out your mouth? Like you actually pushed to move? What is it? What does your body do that lets you know you're about to react? And this is a really important question, because this is what you're going to master. You're going to be aware of that feeling, and that's going to be your signal to yourself that you're going to practice non-reaction and a pause. Okay, so that's awareness. Now we're going to move on to the cost. So we're going to understand the cost of reaction. So again, it helps to close your eyes, take a deep breath. Just relax and let the answer bubble up. It's pretty quick, and let it come to you. Okay, when you're ready. The first question. This is about understanding the cost. When I react impulsively, what does it usually cost me? In peace, in relationships, or in results? When I react impulsively, what does it usually cost me? In peace? And how long does that last? Does it ruin your day? Does it ruin more than one day? or several hours? How long does it disrupt your peace? Does it keep you up at night? And what does it cost you in your relationships? Is it continuously in a state of repair, like break and build, break and build, break and build? And in results as well, when you react, do you get the results you don't want? And then this is the year 2026. We're only in the beginning of the year. So as I said, if you want to make 7 days and then maybe 30 days, and then you go on for another 30 days, now you've done 60 days, and you can say, I'm going to practice this now for 90 days. Once you've done 90 days, you're well on your way. And that's your first quarter of the year. Then you can say in the next quarter of the year, I'm going to practice this even stronger with more awareness and presence, and so on. And I can tell you within 6 months, you can be in a whole new world. But initially, it does take a lot of effort. All right, let's close our eyes and take another deep breath. You're going to now understand the cost again of reaction. What important conversations or opportunities may have been damaged by past reactions? You don't have to think of 1,000, but think of 1 or 2 that were really important for you. Important conversations with people that you love or value that were damaged through reaction. Or what opportunities have been damaged by past reactions? Maybe it was work. And remember, reaction can also be fear. So if you missed opportunities because you reacted out of fear and not your intuition that was guiding you, maybe you missed the opportunity to invest in something and now time has passed. What did reaction cost you?
I just thought I'd add, I thought it was useful because often when I think of reaction, I think of like an action. Um, but I don't know if others also experience this. Sometimes the reaction is freeze or to not do anything. So that in itself is also a reaction.
Thank you. Absolutely. All survival, fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah. Immobility from fear definitely can cost you.
Trauma can cause you to freeze for days before you
Absolutely.
understand what's happened to you. You don't react. So it's not really mastery. It's you go into delayed reactions. So it's freeze.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's shocking. You
Yeah,
don't
so
realize it when it,
I understand. So trauma needs processing. We have to get through trauma, otherwise you'll stay stuck and frozen. So this question, I think, is not coming from a place of you've just come out of trauma. It's more your everyday life when we are reacting. How does it damage our opportunities or our conversations? Yeah. Okay. Just going to put on mute. You can talk anytime. There was a humming sound. The last question is, maybe take a deep breath, close your eyes. Just be patient with the answer to come up. This question is, what patterns of suffering might I be reinforcing through automatic reactions? So what patterns of suffering? Remember, suffering is just something that you don't want. it's happening, or something that you wish was happening and it's not happening. Craving or aversion, but what are they? Trying to identify it for you personally. What is that pattern about? And what are you reinforcing through automatic reactions? Maybe, as I said, it's breaking and repairing a relationship over and over with the same person. Or maybe it's breaking trust. Or maybe it's authentic connection and communication with the person. Because remember, when we're reacting, we're not safe to be around, even if you're just shouting. So does it have a cost? What patterns are we reinforcing, if you can find any patterns? Are you ready to move on? Yeah? Just nod. I can see you guys. Okay. All right. So I'm just now coming to a section now, exploring the space between stimulus and response. On the screen, I put a little book there on the left-hand side. I read this book, and it was a very, very valuable read. Many years ago, I read this book, A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist, and he was in the Holocaust, and he survived, and he knew he's going to come out and write this book. He came up with a thing called logos theory, and basically why I put it on the screen is it was Viktor Frankl who accurately expressed there is always a little gap, a little space between every stimulus in your life and your response. And in that gap, in that space, is enormous power. And this is the power I'm talking about of the 7 levels of awareness. If you can practice with discipline, being self-aware enough when something happens that normally triggers you, to stop for 1 second. It doesn't have to be long, guys. It does not have to be like a 10-second pause. It can be a 1-second pause. But in that moment, you do not react the way you always react. You just say, I'm really angry. This thing's just, or I'm very upset. This thing is just, you feel the emotion come up. And then you make a choice in that moment that empowers you. It comes from a level of self-discipline. It comes from a place of mastering yourself and your emotions. And I'm going to just say there's a good place to express this. If you did heal your life with myself and Nancy at any time, and we talk so much about the inner child, which I'll talk about just after this, you'll realize that the inner child is reacting. Every time you react, it's the inner child version of you. So no matter your age, inside you, there's a version of you that's every age. And when your inner child tries to defend you or protect you, that's survival. The inner child comes out. And what do? Children react. Children scream. They cry. Take away their toy. They cry. They want something they don't have. They cry. They got cravings. They cry. They cry till they get them. If there's something they don't want, change my nappy. They cry. So that gap between stimulus and response is what we're aiming for here. So this is the first question. What would become possible if I paused for just 5 seconds before responding? Just come up with something. Would you get better relationships? Would you become more respected at work or maybe in your family? Would you be able to handle things better? Would you have less regret? Would you have more joy? Would you maybe have more love? Maybe have more peace? Maybe have more harmony? I don't know. What would it be? What would become possible if I paused for just 5 seconds before responding every time you triggered? Are you all done? Okay. Next question. Maybe you want to take a deep breath and relax into it. Maybe close your eyes while you listen to it. What would I be if I responded from clarity rather than emotion? What would you be? Any answer will be fine. So as an example, you could even say, I'd be a role model for my children, or I'd be a role model for others, or I'd be happier, or I'd be more peaceful, or I'd be a calmer person, or I'd be more respected. Maybe you even just respect yourself. I'd be more calmly confident. Okay, and then the next question. Again, you want to take a deep breath. Just close your eyes and let the answer just pop in your head. What is one situation in my life right now where I can practice non-reaction? What is one situation in my life right now where I can practice non-reaction? Maybe you've got a whole list. Try pick one. So you've got real focus and you can observe yourself. And as you get better, of course, you can make more. But choose one. Maybe the one that shows up most frequently. Because if you can master that, the rest is easy. Then you're downhill. Are you all done? Okay, excellent. You guys are champions. Now I'd just like to talk about something a little bit to do with parenting. So please, if you don't have kids, you can think of this even with adults, friends, and your immediate family. So remember, we've got an inner child, inner parent, and inner adult in all of us. So when we triggered and we say to someone or a child, why are you acting like this? They don't hear those words, they hear this. Your feelings are not valid. Rather say this, I see you're upset. So validate the person first. Validate their feelings. I see you're upset. I'm here to help you. So try that. Stop crying. Stop crying right now. Stop crying. They hear you're being bad for expressing emotions. Now, when we do Heal Your Life, for those of you who've done it, you know how many people are struggling as adults because as children they were told, stop crying. And the child understands, okay, so it's bad to express my emotions. So you go through your whole life and you don't express your emotions. You are full of trapped emotions. So you'll get sick if you don't know how to process that. So this is very important. So very good to say to children, even an adult partner, it's okay to cry. Let it out. The best words you can say is let it out. Let's take some deep breaths together, especially with kids. If they're crying hectically, you say it's okay to cry. It's okay. Let's take some deep breaths together. They've got to hear the words, it's okay. Okay? Never say stop crying. Never say boys don't cry either. Next one, you need to calm down. They hear you're wrong for feeling this way. So it's better to say it this way. Your feelings are big right now, but we'll figure it out together. So you are, again, validating they got big feelings at this moment. Or I can see you really angry right now, or whatever it may be. The next one, you're being ridiculous. They hear you're not allowed to be upset. You're you're being ridiculous. Rather say, I can see this is really hard for you. Let's talk about it. But it's said with a calm presence. So maybe this is something you want to take a photo of, if it'll help you, or get the recording when it's up on YouTube, and maybe have 1 or 2 in your back pocket that you say immediately. So maybe the first thing you do is say what you see. I can see you're upset. I can see you got big feelings. I can see this is hard for you. Or what I hear is also okay. Then what's wrong with you? Then the person hears there's something wrong with me. Well, being upset is not wrong. So rather say, everyone gets upset sometimes. You're not alone. I get upset too. We can work it out. Next one, don't be so difficult. The person, especially kids here, you're the problem. Say it this way. It's okay to feel mad, or it's okay to feel so angry, but let's find a better way to show it. This is a golden one. I love this one. And then here, why can't you behave like others? So this is comparison, and the only thing they hear is, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as my brother, my sister, my other person, whatever. They need to hear, I love you no matter what, even when you're upset. Can we take a few deep breaths? Can we talk about it? What are you feeling right now? So they need to hear that they love no matter what, even when they're upset. Otherwise, they trap emotions, kids, because they want to be loved and accepted and valued. And I know this is true. So this is the best, one of the best things you can offer. Here's another one. This is, okay, just to tell you that this red one is coming from the controlling parent, but the green side is coming from a responding adult. You've got the adult, the parent, and the inner child in all of us. And the parent is critical. And if you ever criticize yourself as an adult, you could be 80 years old. If you say to yourself, I'm so stupid, I could have done this better, I can't do this, you criticize yourself. Your own inner parent is criticizing your own inner child. So any criticism or judgment is always the inner parent, and it always damages the inner child. So if a parent says it to an actual child who's young in age, you are criticizing that child's inner child. They also have an inner parent. That's why some kids are 5 years old and they're very nurturing. They want to, put a blanket on the doggy and, look after the kitty or whatever, or even their doll or whatever. That's the inner parent in a 5-year-old. So we've got all 3 of them. All right. Here's some difference between parent and adult responses, just to observe where we're acting from. Whenever you say to someone, stop that, that's the critical parent. If it's a child, the effect is it often escalates emotional tension and it feels like punishment for them. It feels punitive. So stop that makes it worse. If you say to a crazy, busy one, calm down, again, critical parent, it usually increases frustration because it feels like you don't know that I'm feeling these big emotions. You're not validating my big emotions. If it's why are you behaving this way, it's again judgmental parent, and this may provoke defensiveness because I'm upset about whatever, so they become defensive, or they feel bad for behaving that way, so they have a level of shame. Then what happens is they become inauthentic, put a mask on as they grow up into adulthood, and they become people pleasers because they think it's shameful for them to show their emotions. So that's from the parent. Critical parent, judgmental parent. Here's from the adult. Again, what do you see? You seem upset. With a calm voice, you seem upset. What happened? Just test this. If you, this is not criticism, guys. I'm here to help everyone. Trust me. I've been critical parent more than I've been responsive adult. I want you to take one of these and test them with whoever, if you're a parent or, maybe a partner, whoever triggers you, just try these. Write one down that resonates with you. Maybe it's you seem upset. What happened? Or what are you feeling right now? Take one, try one, put it in your back pocket and test it. Have this pause between stimulus and response. Start the journey of self-mastery and see how you go. When you say you seem upset, what happened? It encourages shared understanding and emotional regulation. I must tell you, the first step of emotional regulation is observing the person who's in front of you. So if the person, especially an adult, is in front and they calm, you are teaching your child emotional regulation, because you demonstrating that you can regulate yourself. And if we can't control our emotions, we're teaching them, well, you can't regulate yourself, so why should I? And that was me as a kid. I had a terrible temper. I really did. And I didn't know what to do with my anger. I had to attend Heal Your Life, 2022, and understand for the first time that I never in my life knew what to do with such a high energy emotion as anger. For those of you who attended the class, you'll know I hit a door with a hockey stick as a kid and got into massive trouble at home. I was told I could never break, hit, or physically do anything anymore. So that door closed. I got the same emotions come up again. What did I do? I wrote. My brother was the tormenting one. I wrote this letter full of swear words. Then he gave it to my parents and bust me. I was even more trouble again. I was in big trouble. So now I couldn't hit anything. I couldn't write anything. What did I do with anger? Then the anger came up again. So eventually my coping mechanism was get on my bicycle and ride like hell. I just rode my bicycle off the saddle with all my energy until I was exhausted and I was some other part of town. Then I'd be calmed down a bit, I expended the energy, and I could come home. That unfortunately wasn't a very wise way of doing it either, because I never understood this until 2022, as I said. So it became a pattern in my life that whenever I was angry, I'd leave. Or upset, any intense emotion, I'd leave. And a terrible example I'll give you is this. In the year 1996, my first cousin was only 21, and suddenly and shockingly she passed on from a severe stroke. No explanation, the doctors couldn't explain why. When I got the news, I was standing in my apartment at the time with my partner there, and my uncle gave me the news on the phone, and I was so upset, and I was so shocked, and I was so grieved. I left. I put the phone down, I literally walked to the door, opened it and left. I never said anything. I came home about 3 hours later. Do you know what worry and unnecessary trouble and pain and suffering I caused my partner? This was before mobile phones, 1996. That's not the way to deal with things. So I never dealt with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. So this is what I'm teaching. I'm not saying you're as bad as me. Maybe you are, maybe the same, maybe you're better, maybe you're worse. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Wherever you are, let's take steps to start helping ourselves become more emotionally regulated and master ourselves, so we can teach others the same and we can be role models. The last one, I hear you're frustrated. Let's figure out what you need. This helps a child feel seen and fosters, again, co-regulation, mainly because, one, they're observing the adult as being emotionally regulated. So I hope that's been helpful. You can come back to those if you need to, or watch the video, take photos, whatever it is. All right, so this is really about practice. Non-reaction, as I said, is a practice. So the first thing, become aware. It does have a cost. It does affect you. It does affect all your relationships, every one of them. The second one is motivation. You want self-mastery. So that's what I would always say. I need to change. Not them. I need to change. I always love the idea that imagine that they never change. That's your starting point. And make it real for yourself. Imagine that they never change, then the only thing left to change is yourself. Transformation comes from practice. That's it. Just be very present in the moment. And when you feel this reactive energy surging in your body, because it happens really quickly, anger happens really quickly, or being upset about something, being triggered or offended, I don't know what it is. It's in that moment that you take a deep breath. You just pause for a second and you choose to be very aware of yourself, the fact that you've been triggered. Just pause, even if you have to start off saying, how are you feeling? I'm feeling this very much, whatever right now. I'm feeling very angry right now, let's say. And then you make a choice. And your choice could be, I just need 2 minutes to calm down, or 10 or 20, I'll be back. But it's constructive and it's respectful and it's still with love and it values the relationship. And you practice that, you'll get better and better at it. Eventually, you'll become so self-aware that you can be in the midst of what used to be a very triggering environment and you actually don't get triggered. That's what comes from discipline and experience. Level 5 and level 6 on the 7 levels of awareness. When you have that experience, and as you continue with that, not being triggered, you reach a level of self-mastery. And then your life is so much more peaceful, much more happy, full of joy, and your ability to love. Now, we might have things that hold us back, so I'm just going to say it openly. If you do, and you find this really difficult, and this is an area in your life where you find you get upset very easily or angry, all I can say is do heal your life. Please come and do it again and again. It helped me so much. And after my first Heal Your Life, within, 3 or 4 days of thinking I've really, transformed this and I've released that, and I was so severely triggered. I think it's almost like life comes to test you. Have you learned this? Have you learned this? And then I did my second Heal Your Life, and I worked on my elder brother because he can trigger me. And I did so well. I thought I did so well, and I did all this forgiveness, and I really did well. Within 7 days, I had the biggest argument of my life with him. I thought to myself, this can't be happening. I thought I've just released all this. But that's what life does. So the more we heal, life comes back and gives us something and says, well, we'll serve this up for you. Have you really learned this lesson? And often we need to go deeper and deeper into whatever we need to heal, or self-reflection, or something like Vipassana. Vipassana does transform. It's not easy, guys. I'm just telling you. It's not easy, but boy, oh boy, is Vipassana worth it. So I'm here to suggest it to anyone unless you really want to do it. But if you did want to do it, or you're even curious, go. But if you did make that decision, make another decision at the same time, which is, I will stay the 10 days. I will not leave, no matter how hard it is on day 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, whatever. You will stay till the end, because when you get to day 8, you've entered a new world, and day 9 is just bliss. It's amazing. And 10 is even better. And even someone like myself who loves to talk, I didn't even want to talk when I finished. So it's not about, can you not talk? You don't want to talk. You're going through such an inner experience. Anyway, that's it for that. So again, how to heal at the root cause level. If we are severely triggered, I just recommend that you do the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. Teenagers, we've now launched Self-Empowerment Play Shop. And of course, if you want coaching, there is Heal Your Life coaching, or just any coaching. I've had coaching clients over the years, maybe some of you have done it, with some rapid results coaching techniques, and released something massive, and it transforms that reactive response that has been a reactive response your whole life from something that happened, and it just, every time that thing happens, it touches that wound and you automatically react. You think, how can I get out of this pattern? How can I get out of it? Sometimes you do need a modality. Sometimes you do need an intervention. That's why there are coaches. That's why there are workshops. That's why there are programs. So you work it out. Do the best thing for yourself. Trust your intuition. So we did have our very first Teens Empowerment Play Shop. It was a huge success. I just tell you, I got myself and Nancy. It was one of the most rewarding 2 days of our lives. And if I can just show you a quick clip, I'm going to stop the recording to do this. It's not recorded. So just to show the quick progress on how powerful mirror work is, a breakthrough technique. So if you haven't done Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, please come. If you want to know more about mirror work, Louise Hay wrote a book on it. You can buy that book. It's called the 21-Day Mirror Work to Love Yourself, Loving Yourself. So we're really very much inspired by the Teens Empowerment Play Shop. We saw it make a difference. The best thing is to reinforce. If kids could do this continuously, it would be wonderful for them. But their self-confidence did go up. Even what they said, when we asked them on day 2, how do you feel now? And every one of them said, it's not that weird. It's not that awkward. And then towards later end, they said, it's fun. It's such a such a transformation in such a short space of time. And that's really the person that everyone, adults, teenagers, small kids, the relationship you need to master and, develop the most is the one with yourself. Because when that one's great, everything else in your life works and you manifest more. So that's it from me. So if anyone has any questions, I've got something in the chat box I want to read. Okay, thank you. There's somebody said thank you. They had to drop off. All right. So just some events coming up. If anyone has any questions, please just raise your hand or type in the chat and I'll come to you. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up now and do a meditation. So Silver 4-day immersion is end of March. So if anyone would like to join, anyone 8 years and older is welcome to attend. If you're a graduate and you haven't reviewed for a while, I highly recommend you come back. It will really be so beneficial. Then Love Yourself and Manifest More. We're now presenting these two programs back to back because they work so well together. So Silver Manifesting is a different program to the Silver 4-day. It's completely different, 11 exercises, none of them are the same. And this does delve into our programming from 0 to 7. We do age regression and some amazing things on even your purpose in life, your mission in life. It even uncovers traumas or childhood programming that blocks you from manifesting. And this is so related to Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. So we put the two together because this is the actual practice and we go through processing here. So if anybody wants to do that, we do have an early bird price. It does save you $500. And remember, if you're a graduate of me, you pay half price. Okay?
Can I just interrupt there? Sorry. We only have 3 seats left for the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life in April, just to let you all know.
Yes.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
No, that's okay. Thanks, Nance. I didn't actually know that. If it is full when you do book, you're welcome to email us and go on a waiting list. We do have an absolute definite class in December. Nancy and I are trying to add one in August, just out of pure demand. But that is a program that the more you do, and I'm proof myself, and so is Nancy, the more you attend Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, the more your life improves. And if the first one if you have done it was challenging for you, I promise you the second one is a lot easier. And I was a little bit guarded. My first one, I'm just being honest here, a little bit censored myself to a certain degree. I kind of played it safe. But after I realized the benefits and got a massive breakthrough after the program, I went more in on my second one. But my third one, I went even more in, and the more you do it, the better you transform, and it's just amazing. Everything in your life improves. So if you would like to attend both these back-to-back, they're the best 4 days. And Silver Manifesting, by the way, is a fun program. It's not like Silver Method. It's full of color, dance, music, fun, interaction, long pauses to share, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's really vibrant. And then, of course, Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, for those of you who've done it, you know, it's sitting in circle, no PowerPoint, full of experiences as well. Okay, so I'll just go through that because we've just expressed that. Anything with coaching, contact me. I do have a 12-week program. Or if you want to release a block, known or unknown, I do it in one session, guaranteed, or you don't pay. And now let's meditate. So keep your pen and paper handy because I'm going to ask you a question or two in a deep, relaxed state, and whatever comes up, you just trust your intuition and write down your first impressions. All right. So find a comfortable position. Take a nice deep breath. And while exhaling, just consciously relax your body from head to toe. Release all tension and ligament pressures, starting from the top of your head and flowing all the way down. Be conscious of your shoulders. Relax your thighs, your legs, all the way down to your feet. And just take another deep breath. And just enjoy this moment to relax and to center yourself. It's just a short moment of self-care. And while you're relaxed, I want you to create in your mind your ideal place of relaxation, a real place or an imagined place. Just a place that you would be totally relaxed. And just begin to experience that place right now. And how wonderful it feels to be relaxed. And now I want you to add into the scene a waterfall of white light. And now that you've created your waterfall of white light, I want you to walk up to it and stand under the cascading white light and allow this light, this healing energy, this clearing energy, just cleanse your entire energy field, inside and out. It's clearing all the stress, the tension, the worries, the lifetime of reactions you've had. It just cleanses it all away. I want you to notice just how much happier you look. And now that you're so relaxed, I want you to notice that everything that you've been carrying, all the concerns, all the worries are no longer a burden. And your energy field is now expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. You just have to close your eyes and relax, imagine your ideal place of relaxation, and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take another deep breath, relax a bit more, and just repeat mentally after me. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. And repeat mentally after me. I can choose to respond in any given moment. I can master my emotions and myself. And just affirm, I will choose to respond with patience, presence, and not react. I will be grateful in every moment for the opportunity to practice presence and calmness. And now I want you to imagine that this white light turns to green, and you're now immersed in this beautiful glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It just pours over you, it wraps around you, it fills you with love. In any hurts you felt, any pain or angry moments, let this unconditional love heal all those spaces now and fill you with love, so that all you have to give away is love. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve peace. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. You deserve all good. Now you can step out of the waterfall. You now feel centered, calm, and clear. And now that you've reset your mind and your body, it's now time to set your intention for the month of February. So in this relaxed state, when you get an answer, it comes from your own inner wisdom, your higher self, your intuition. That part of you that intuitively knows what is best for you. So write down your first impressions, not long answers, just short, quick first impressions, and trust them. You can analyze them after, but for now, as soon as you've written a few notes, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and re-enter this calm space. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month of February? Next question: what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? When you finish, take a deep breath, close your eyes and relax. Next question: what do I need to let go of? And then in this relaxed state, the last question: is there anything else I need to know or do? Just, is there anything else? Now take a deep breath. Relax. Just become aware of your body. Maybe have a big stretch. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you got some answers for yourself there. And if you did, just trust them. And you can do this anytime. Just be very relaxed. Any question in life that you have, you can do it in the same relaxed state. You'll get answers from your intuition that you can always trust. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording now.